Steelers veteran explains why he's confident in Russell Wilson. Veteran defensive lineman Cameron Hayward is among individuals associated with the Pittsburgh Steelers warning outsiders that they shouldn't bet against quarterback Russell Wilson bouncing back following Wilson's rough two-season run with the Denver Broncos. "I think his motivation is at an all-time high," Hayward said about Wilson during a Wednesday appearance on The Jim Rome Show, as shared by Joe Clark of Steelers Depot. "Russ came in with the mindset to want to be the best he can. He's picked all of our brains and just understanding what it is to be a Pittsburgh Steeler." After the Steelers acquired both Wilson and Justin Fields in March, the expectation was that the two would compete for Pittsburgh's starting job through August. While Wilson hasn't officially won the gig ahead of training camp, he reportedly ended the spring as the undisputed leader of the Steelers' offense. As of Thursday afternoon, DraftKings Sportsbook had Wilson as the betting favorite at -750 odds over Fields, +450, to start Pittsburgh's Week 1 game at the Atlanta Falcons on September 8. "The thing I've loved the most is just how detailed he is throughout the day," Hayward added about Wilson. "When he steps into the building, there's no shortage of doing the little things and doing the extra things. Whether it's spending extra time with your receivers, going over film work, continue to just keep learning. It's like he's a student of the game." Much was made before and after Wilson signed a team-friendly contract to join the Steelers about how game film from his Denver tenure seemingly shows he's past his prime and about how he allegedly couldn't manage or handle the offense run by Broncos head coach Sean Payton last season. It's still early days into the Steelers' quarterback experiment, but Wilson's teammates sound excited about what the offense could achieve this fall. "Wilson and Justin are gonna provide a really good punch in our QB room," Hayward declared on Wednesday. That last line is interesting considering whispers continue to suggest that the Steelers could start Wilson but also utilize special packages for Fields when the games begin to matter in September. First call: Tampa set to sign Jake Gensel, Livy Dunn boosts Pirates merch, Brandon Aiyuk for sure wants to stay with 49ers. After trading to acquire his rights, it looks like the Tampa Bay Lightning will work out a deal with former Penguin Jake Gensel. Brandon Aiyuk claims that he wants to stay in San Francisco. A pair of second-year Steelers are getting their tires pumped at NFL.com. Livy Dunn is influencing Pirates t-shirt sales. Former Penguin Jake Gensel is signing with the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's according to a social media post from Frank Saravalli of the Daily Faceoff on Sunday night. Details have been hard to come by as Tampa has other moving parts, and info might not come out until tomorrow. Gensel's rights had been traded to Tampa Bay from Carolina earlier in the day. So, all indications were that Tampa was likely close to a deal with the former Pittsburgh Stanley Cup champion. The Athletic's Pierre LeBrun is expecting the announcement of a 7-year pact between the 29-year-old winger and the Lightning as soon as free agency opens Monday. Still not finalized, but all signs point to Tampa getting Jake Gensel signed to a 7-year deal. "I would expect an announcement sometime tomorrow before the market opens." The Bolts weren't going to trade for his rights without feeling good about their chances to get him signed. After being traded from the Pens to Carolina last season, Gensel tallied 8 goals and 17 points in the regular season. Then he added 4 goals and 5 assists in 11 postseason games. For all the talk about Brandon Aiyuk perhaps leaving the 49ers, the wide receiver insists that he wants to stay in San Francisco. TMZ Sports ran into Aiyuk at Los Angeles International Airport over the weekend and asked him if he wants to be wearing a San Francisco 49ers uniform next year. So explained rolling up to 49ers HQ in a Pittsburgh Pirates hat and told fans to stay tuned regarding him signing a new deal. pic.twitter.com/DUXL8QHPTC. In recent days, Aiyuk has left a lot of people wondering if he may want to leave the Niners for Washington because of his frustration with contract negotiations in San Francisco. Aiyuk is close with Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels. The Steelers have long been rumored as a potential trade target as well if Aiyuk and the Niners can't come together on an extension beyond this year. That conversation picked up some steam Friday when Aiyuk posted a video of himself pulling into Levi's Stadium wearing a Pirates hat. But the 26-year-old told TMZ he was just wearing the hat because the Pirates sent him some gear after connecting on Instagram. Speaking of TMZ Sports, they caught up with the folks at Baseball Dugout LLC. That's the company that created the presidential ticket-esque Skeens Jones 24 black and gold t-shirts to capitalize on the success of Pirates pitchers Paul Skeens and Jared Jones. Well, Skeens' girlfriend, Instagram influencer Livy Dunn, posted herself wearing one of the shirts last week. And the company tells TMZ that ever since that happened, sales have gone up 1,400%. Sales of a Paul Skeens and Jared Jones themed t-shirt exploded after #Livy Dunn wore it earlier this month. Skeens pitched 6 innings on Saturday in Atlanta. He gave up 1 run in a no decision as he struck out 9 Braves before being pulled in what became a 2-1 loss. Jones is scheduled to pitch Wednesday against the St. Louis Cardinals at PNC Park. On Friday, NFL.com put together its 2024 NFL All-Breakout Team on defense. The list is comprised of 11 defensive players poised to make noise in 2024. Players on it have yet to receive any All-Pro or Pro Bowl honors but are expected to garner consideration with their play in the coming campaign. Former NFL player and scout Bucky Brooks authored the post. 2 Steelers are on it. The first one is second-year defensive lineman Keanu Benton. As an energetic defender with a non-stop motor and active hands, Benton outworks and outlasts blockers to win battles on critical downs, Brooks said of Benton. Though it is easier to win when playing alongside T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith, Benton's disruptive talents could help the Steelers get back to playing championship-caliber football. The second-year pro is a dark horse contender for Pro Bowl honors in 2024 after thriving as the CB1 in Pittsburgh down the stretch last season. Porter's toughness, tenacity and tools make him a difficult matchup for pass catchers who lack the speed and physicality to escape his clutches at the line. Though he remains a work in progress on the island, Porter's alpha dog mentality and unshakable confidence could enable him to shine without a polished game, Brooks said. On Sunday, Garrett Cole had his 3rd start since returning from injury for the New York Yankees. It was his best one yet. Cole tossed 5 innings, allowing just 1 run and totaling 6 strikeouts en route to an 8-1 victory over the Toronto Blue Jays. The former Pirate allowed just 3 hits and 1 walk. His last time out against the New York Mets, Cole allowed 6 earned runs in just 4 innings, giving up 7 hits and 4 walks. The 2023 Cy Young Award winner got some help in Toronto from Aaron Judge. He blasted a 423-foot home run. That's Judge's league-leading 31st homer of the year. The Yankees, .628, are 0 games back and just percentage points behind the Baltimore Orioles, .631, for the American League East lead. Steelers 2024 NFL playoff odds, Pittsburgh viewed as long shot to make postseason. The Steelers have finished with a record of .500 or better in all 17 seasons with Tomlin at the helm that has resulted in 11 postseason appearances. However, after sneaking into the playoffs last season with a carousel of quarterbacks, odds makers are out on the Steelers entering the 2024 season. Pittsburgh will have Russell Wilson at quarterback this season as the former Super Bowl winning quarterback looks to regain his form in a new setting, with Justin Fields backing him up. However, after souring in Denver, it's clear that the betting market doesn't look favorably on Wilson anymore. The Steelers are viewed as a capable team, but the 4th best in a crowded AFC North that features a healthy Bengals team back in the mix to compete with last year's postseason teams in the Ravens and Browns. Further, the most questions lie with the Steelers relative to the other teams in the division. Wilson's effectiveness is in question, and the same can be said for an aging defense that is very reliant on T.J. Watt's excellence as a pass rusher. Pittsburgh will bring in a new offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith in hopes of revitalizing the team's offense, but the team's schedule will be tough sledding. Not only will the Steelers face 3 playoff-caliber teams twice in division play, but also face the Eagles and Cowboys in interconference play and the Chiefs as well on Christmas Day. There aren't many breaks in the schedule for the Steelers, and that's evident in the team's odds to make the postseason, which gives the group a 39.5% implied probability. Analysts believe Steelers rookie is top 10 at his position. There seems to be a consensus around the league that the Steelers had yet another strong draft under general manager Omar Khan. While many believe Pittsburgh landed multiple starters, The Athletic's Brandon Thorne took it one step further, claiming second-round pick Zach Frazier is already a top 10 player at his position. Maybe like a top 10, top 12 center as a rookie, Thorne said on the Athletic Football Show podcast. That wouldn't surprise me at all. He's an older prospect, he's played a lot of football. I think he's ready to go right away. Frazier, who will turn 23 in August, does have a ton of collegiate snaps under his belt, but naming him a top 10 player at his position before taking his first NFL snap could be a bit presumptuous. However, that was one of the many reasons why the Steelers were attracted to Frazier during the draft process. The West Virginia product was also regarded as the single toughest player in this draft because in the final game of last season, he broke his leg and hopped off the field with the game on the line and the Mountaineers out of timeouts. Pittsburgh also had a clear need at center after releasing 2023 starter Mason Cole earlier this offseason. The team claimed it was comfortable with its in-house option in Nate Herbig, but it couldn't pass on the opportunity to add Frazier in the second round when some had him graded as a first-round talent. Thorne thinks Frazier will live up to those expectations and then some, comparing him to Patriots 2-time Super Bowl champion David Andrews. Frazier, I see like a David Andrews sort of center, Thorne added. A guy you could stick in there for a long time, he's gonna be a big benefit to whatever quarterback you have in there, and he's just gonna do everything pretty well. If that's the case, the Steelers will be ecstatic with their choice, but Frazier must first beat out Herbig for the starting job in training camp later this month. It's Groundhog Day in San Francisco, as rumors of star wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk being on the outs with the team are circulating again. According to ESPN's Ryan Clark and Adam Schefter, Aiyuk met with the 49ers on Monday regarding his contract situation as he enters the final year of his rookie contract, the fifth-year option that San Francisco picked up last spring. Aiyuk is coming off of a career season with the 49ers. En route to a Super Bowl appearance, Aiyuk hauled in 84 receptions for 1,491 yards and 8 touchdowns over 16 regular season games and 3 playoff games. He became quarterback Brock Purdy's top target on offense, and earned second-team All-Pro honors for his performance. The 26-year-old has outwardly spoken about his frustrations on his contract in recent weeks. Although he told TMZ on Friday that he for sure wants to remain in San Francisco, he also posted a video call with former teammate and current Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels on TikTok earlier this month, where he says that the 49ers don't want him back. Additionally, he told the Pivot podcast that the Commanders and Steelers could be options for him should they not come to an agreement. New England has longed for a true, number one wide receiver since the days of Randy Moss. Failed draft picks of Chad Jackson, Aaron Dobson, N'Keal Harry, and Tyquan Thornton have haunted them for 10-plus years. Among other mistakes, they didn't equip Mac Jones with the proper weapons to succeed in the NFL. Don't make the same mistake twice with Drake May. Sure, the Patriots took 2 solid swings on Jalen Polk, R2, pick 37, and Javon Baker, R4, pick 104, and the early returns on both have looked solid. But those two are just as inexperienced as May at the NFL level. Quarterbacks who have succeeded earlier in their careers, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, all have at least one thing in common: a bona fide number one wide receiver to throw to and rely on. If you can't get it across the finish line, so be it. But if the Patriots don't at least call on Aiyuk again, it's a missed opportunity. Bill Belichick has made several premier appearances since parting ways with the Patriots back in January: the roast of Tom Brady, Pat McAfee's NFL Draft Spectacular, Tom Brady's retirement ceremony, and the Manning Passing Academy, to name a few. He's also been seen showing up to lacrosse games, speaking at coaching clinics, and vacationing on his beloved Nantucket Island. But is he ready to get back into coaching? That's the big question. While he seemingly didn't have a chance to this offseason after being passed up by 31 NFL teams, Belichick reportedly was given a chance to coach lacrosse in 2024. In a recent interview with ESPN, Premier Lacrosse League founder, president, and former Boston Cannon Paul Rabel told Paul Calcaterra that Philadelphia Water Dogs head coach Bill Tierney almost got Belichick to be his defensive coordinator this season. "I'll give you some tea first," said Rabel. "You know who Bill Tierney went to for his defensive coordinator position? Bill Belichick. Almost got him. Almost got him." Speaking of Belichick, for the second week in a row we have a former Patriot seemingly standing up for the former head coach. On Julian Edelman's latest episode of Games with Names, Rob Gronkowski had this to say about the 72-year-old. "I think Coach Belichick may be my new favorite person since the roast," the former All-Pro tight end said when talking about their time at Tom Brady's Patriots Hall of Fame induction. "If he just showed that personality at all while he was a head coach, I still think we would be playing with the New England Patriots and winning Super Bowls." Although the Patriots have been snake-bitten by their attempts at landing a true number one wide receiver, you can't say they haven't tried, as seen in their signings of, albeit troubled, pass catchers Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown. Apparently, they also once tried to trade for former Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen. In an interview on Barstool Sports' Pardon My Take last week, Thielen explained how despite a rather public beef between he and Bill Belichick, that there were no hard feelings. "I just let him know I didn't feel like that was the right thing to do," Thielen said when explaining that an apparent fake injury by former New England safety is what started the ruckus. "I believe going into that next offseason, Belichick had reached out to the Vikings about, possibly trading for me, trying to get me to come there," he continued. "So it must have been like a good impression, he must have liked that kind of tenacity or competitiveness. Obviously, that didn't happen, and 2 years later there looked to be no love lost." Thanks for reading. We'll talk to you next week. San Francisco 49ers haven't traded Brandon Aiyuk because no one wants to pay him, NFL Insider. An NFL insider recently put out a bold statement about why the San Francisco 49ers have not traded Brandon Aiyuk. NFL teams think he's more of a Mercedes-Benz than Lamborghini. The disgruntled wide receiver met with the 49ers brass last week, hoping they could clear some stuff up before training camp. The meeting went well, but the 49ers' stance on trading Aiyuk has not changed. They have no reason to rush the process because they hold the majority of the leverage. According to Mike Garafolo with the NFL Network, the 49ers are not close to a deal with Aiyuk or a trade request. For Aiyuk and the 49ers, they had conversations recently, Garafolo said this week via the 49ers webzone. "They are no closer to a deal, from my understanding, but they are also no closer to a trade request. That's never been something that he has explored in this case. Besides, he's got to get back to work sometime before training camp to see if they can get something done." As previously discussed on GH, Aiyuk told Ryan Clark with ESPN on the Pivot podcast that the 49ers told him earlier in the offseason that they didn't believe they'd get on the same page as Aiyuk. "They told me that they didn't think that we were on the same page and that they didn't believe that we were going to, and that was about it at that time," Aiyuk said. "But it's part of it. It's part of the contract negotiations, trying to sway stuff in either direction. So whether that's 100% true or not, I guess that's still to find out." Mike Florio with NBC Sports thinks that while Aiyuk hasn't officially requested a trade, his agent tried to find a suitor before the draft. However, no team was willing to agree to the terms of Aiyuk's pay demands and/or the 49ers' trade demands. There's a game of semantics going on between the 49ers and Aiyuk. Even if he hasn't asked to be traded, we believe his agent was given permission to seek a trade before the draft. The goal, we also believe, was to let Aiyuk realize that no one else was willing to give him the $30 million per year he reportedly has been seeking. Ultimately, no one was willing to give Aiyuk what he wants in a contract and what the 49ers want in a trade. Otherwise, a trade would have happened. It's unclear why Florio believes in the above scenario. Aiyuk's agent, Ryan Williams, tried to dismiss any reports of trade talks involving his client with other teams before the draft. What we do know now is that a post-draft trade is much harder for the 49ers and Aiyuk. Teams have spent most of their salary cap before training camp, and any return for Aiyuk won't be as high after rosters have been filled during and after the draft. There's always the possibility of a deadline trade-in season when injuries hit playoff-caliber teams. But that could be too late for Aiyuk to hold out for.